Howdy, 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 all you cool cats and kittens. We're back again with, can you believe it, Valheim. Last time we built this really cool structure, and this time we are going to continue building this really cool structure despite the rain and clouds and wind.
Yeah, I've never seen a storm this bad in Valheim, I don't think. I'm gonna be real embarrassed if we had one last time and I forgot, but I don't think we've had one this bad. It's, it's kind of cool. Kind of a bummer for building. Not
You
great
know
visibility.
what tough people do when they're building in a storm?
What do they do?
They unequip their rag tunic and embrace Mother Nature.
Well, if that's what the cool
Yeah,
people do.
yeah, yeah.
What? Why are you so much lighter than me?
I don't
So,
know. I, this is just the guy I
saying
got, I guess.
classic me playing a drow.
Drow. That's like dark elves, right? In
Yeah.
D&D. Okay. So last time I played using mouse and keyboard, but I've been having a little bit of carpal tunnel, so I'm trying to give my wrists a rest here. I'm on controller, and I'm not sure how things work right now. So that is not a good button to hit. I think I just damaged our structure. So right bumper is
Dang.
damage things. Left bumper is sprint. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Now we're moving. All right. So, Berkeley, you mentioned maybe doing a wraparound deck on the observing portion of the building.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had put a deck on one side, but I love it. It was delightful. So I would feel like we need to make that baby go all the way around.
Okay. Well,
Um, does that interest you? I
definitely.
can do that if you want to. Okay.
I'm on it. I'm doing it right now.
Oh wow.
Maybe. Let's see here. Hmm. Look at that. We're building. We're building. Oh, I should show you guys. Berkeley's been experimenting with how far you can push the some of the building mechanics, specifically relating to nature. Berkeley, is it too early to unveil what you've made?
Oh yeah. It's not. I'm sorry. No, it's not too early. I think you've just given it a more noble preamble than it deserved. I was just
Four
mucking about.
score and 7 years ago, our forefathers brought forth a magical building. Oh, if the thing is red, then it will break when you build next to it.
Oh. Oh. You know what's so funny is that you said that right as something I was trying to build was red, but it was red because my big head was in the way. So I guess there's two things that can make it red. Too
If
much
it's
gravity and Berkeley's big head.
Berkeley's big head, which also has its own gravity because of how big it is.
Mm. Berkeley's big head was also the name of my second band.
Dang, that's incredible. What was the name of your first band?
Um, uh, um,
The Recalls?
I got nothing.
You
Oh
couldn't
yeah, I guess
recall?
so. Couldn't recall. That was, oh, I forgot about the recalls. Jared
Some
and I and some other friends tried to start a band called the Recalls, and then we were not very good at it. So our one friend that came up with the idea just used that name for his solo project.
which is
Which,
fair.
yeah, he did more with it than we ever could.
isn't fast enough in my building. No. At least
Did
it
you
gives
did,
me the pieces back. That's nice. Okay.
did you end up showing the tree thing I did?
Oh, I didn't yet. You know, I thought we started a little early today, so I figured I should give people some time to show up before I really dive into that, because that might be a highlight.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You know what's funny is like 3 minutes after we started, we had a bunch of people come in, and then they all left.
You know, it happens.
It happens. I just hope that people are getting the entertainment that they're looking for
Yeah, elsewhere.
elsewhere
We're,
or
we're
here. I mean, it's fine if it's here.
it is fine if it's here, but I will say that I feel confident enough in the value of what we're doing that I'm okay if they don't hang out. They know what they need, and I know what I need, and what I need is exactly what we're doing.
Hmm. You know, it's a little unsettling to be building support for a big deck and then having your friend walk on top of that deck at the same time. It's a lot
Let
of
me
trust in the
test
structure
this.
I'm still building.
Let me just run out here. I'm not a civil engineer. I don't know what building code requires. This is safe. It's fine. Did you break it on purpose?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
This game is not very forgiving with the falling damage, so
Oh, that's true. I gotta eat another raspberry. Another entire stomach full of raspberry. Alright. Okay, so the outer balcony is complete.
oh, nice.
I wonder if there's rails. We have wood ladder, wood wall. I'll bet it's like a short wall. Or these X's. Let's try the X's. That seems like a good rail type of design.
In the misc section, there's a round pole fence. Might make it good.
Ah, okay.
Railing.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, right. We're at our normal streaming time and people are trickling in. Welcome. Welcome, friends.
Welcome.
We did this crazy thing where we started 10 minutes early, and I'm going to be honest, I did not care for it. I'm a man of routine, and this is throwing me all off my groove.
I don't know how we'll ever financially recover from this.
Whoa, that storm sure did clear up fast. It was time.
This isn't looking too good. I think I'm gonna go with the X's. I think this is a little, maybe unrefined looking.
I'm sorry our Viking survival game isn't refined enough for you.
Oh, oh, what have I done? Okay, that's actually pretty cool. It is wasteful, but
I was messing around before we went live and realized that there's no like triangular floors, which I feel like is an oversight. I would love to do some triangle floors.
like a tessellating triangle type of
Um,
situation.
just one where instead of like having a whole square, you could just do like at a 45-degree angle if you wanted to make like an octagon shaped room, for example. You can do it with the walls, but
Oh,
oh, you know what you
yeah.
can do is you can just build it at an angle. Wow, I'm dumb. Okay, check this out. This is gonna be so cool. You can't see what I'm talking about at all. Never mind. I'll show you when I'm done. You're gonna be, you're gonna love this.
I will. I will. I will make sure that we do a tour slash reveal.
Every once in a while, I think you're like sneaking up behind me, and then it turns out to be one of those grayling things.
Yeah, I promise that if I sneak up behind you, you won't be able to tell.
That's a good promise.
All right. This is our very much not OSHA approved. Oh, by the way, I guess I could put my clothes back on now that it's not raining anymore.
Oh yeah, we did a whole thing where it was raining, so we took our clothes off. Sorry that you missed that.
We had to embrace nature and
Hmm.
also keep our leather clothes from rotting away. That's not a game mechanic. That was all headcanon. No, no actual mechanic requires you to take your clothes off when it rains.
Here at SVTer, we like that immersive role play.
Okay, interesting. Huh. Okay,
The little ones are just looking a lot cooler than
they
the big
are.
ones. I'm not sure why.
Whoa.
I'm optimistic that once we get them going, it'll look better.
Yeah. Okay, so I mentioned this earlier, but Berkeley's been pushing the laws of what you can do with the building here. And he has built us a helical staircase out of wood planks. And I haven't climbed all the way to the top before. Oh, my jump skill is... Or my stamina? I can't tell which, but I'm weak.
Yeah, there are some parts where it's pretty hard to. Oh yeah, that part right there is maybe impossible.
Skill issue.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Oh, oh no.
You're just standing there looking at my body.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. Um, rip.
Go tell Charlie that another one fell off. Alright. We're back in action. Oh, no we're not. If I can figure out how to get through a door, we will be. Okay, now we're good. Oh, there's a grayling. Get over here, grayling. Kicked you.
Oh hey, Androxma, thanks for joining. It's been a little
Howdy.
bit. Androxma says, "Great game. Have you played Valheim before?"
Come on. I'm gonna kick you so hard. There we go. Oh, but you're still holding on. Wow. Alright. Grayling defeated, grayling lumps acquired. I guess they're called resin.
You can
I
say
prefer
Grayling lumps.
grayling lumps. Is fire contagious in this game? Like, will I accidentally light our stuff on fire if I am on fire?
I don't think so. I've had some times where I thought I might, and then it didn't happen. So I
Okay.
think we're safe. Androxman says they haven't beaten it though. We're not even attempting. Yeah, we're just building stuff. I don't know.
I would
There's a
say that the philosophy is almost the opposite of what we did in Stardew, where we're trying to beat the game without tools. In this, we're
Mhm.
using all the tools and we're not at all trying to beat the game.
That's true. Yeah, kind of gone off brand there.
Well, I mean, it's never too late to, pursue a new passion project, and that's I think where we're at. When will my jump be good enough that I can just completely jump up. By the way, guys, it seems, Brooklyn and I were talking about this earlier, it seems like the wood ages. So this is new wood that we built today, but this is all old stuff. And you can see that the color's a little different. Looks a little bleached, the older stuff does, and maybe a little bit mossy. And I think that's pretty interesting.
I don't really like how I've done these 45-degree angles. I don't know what the answer is.
What about them displeases you?
This part displeases me.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well,
If I could figure out the rules for what goes on top, that might help.
I do like this little corner piece and having this open space. I don't know, that's interesting.
That looks, well, maybe it'll look better once the room is like finished.
Yeah.
People aren't really staring at the floor usually.
Well, I mean, we wouldn't want all this nice natural wood showing. We definitely should just glue some carpet straight over the top of it. So it doesn't matter. Okay, so the question becomes, what do I... Oh, I should probably go get my, my death chest. I forgot that I died. And left all my stuff
that was
over
fun
there.
when that happened.
I fell off of Berkeley's staircase of horror that he built into this tree along one of the branches, which is pretty impressive, if I do say so myself.
Oh, thanks. It was hard to place.
Berkeley, if I eat these mushrooms, is that bad for me?
It's only bad for you if you like dying. If you're any other kind of person, it's good for you. So I was trying to think about like a cute way to say that.
You got me. You definitely got me. It took me a minute.
Oh, shoot. Here's another thing I don't like about how I did these 45-degree angles is I don't think they're actually 45 degrees. Rats.
This one definitely looks like it.
Right, but then why didn't these line up?
That is a question for the ages. Hang on. Let me get up here. All right.
Why is this so bad? Maybe it's just the last row that is off. Maybe this is the angle that's not 45 degrees.
These definitely protrude a different amount. I think, so for this one you used a little block in this corner piece.
Mm-hmm.
And this one you used a full-size block. I don't know if that matters, but it might have changed the way that these things connect to each other end to end.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do is destroy it all and build the middle first and then put the
all right.
outside on last.
All
Do you
right.
want to sleep on that though?
Yeah, the sun is getting real low. I wonder if that star map is a real star map. Like maybe we could figure out where we are in the real universe. If we
Well, we are in the afterlife, so it might not be a part of the universe we're familiar with.
that's true. That's a good point. I guess it also just occurred to me that we probably don't have that many maps of what the universe looks like from not the solar system.
Yeah. That was a bit of a plot point in Project Hail Mary that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Great book. I would again stand by that 10 out of 10 rating. I think both of us actually gave it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I do, just on my personal social media, I do like a year in review of media, mostly because I don't like my Spotify Wrapped, and so I do an everything else Wrapped for myself. And anyway, yeah, I was getting ready for that recently, and Project Hail Mary is definitely top 3 books I read this year. And spoiler alert, it has to do with being in different parts of the universe.
Yes, it does.
So, Jared, I don't know if you follow this at all. I never have in the past, but they just announced like the candidates for or the nominations for Game of the Year, which is an annual award in the video
Oh,
game
yeah?
industry. And it got me thinking about just the replayability of games. I've definitely played games before and thought, I am going to definitely want to play this in the future. But I can't really pinpoint when I have that feeling or why. So I was curious if you or chat have any thoughts on like what makes games replayable,
Okay.
or just examples of games that you've enjoyed replaying.
I maybe this do are we counting multiplayer games or does it have to be single player?
Multiplayer, I feel like is its own beast, but let's talk about it.
Okay. I have more than 4,000 hours in a game called Arma 3. And the single player version of the game is entertaining, but it is not something I would say is super replayable. They did make it possible to have some different decision trees with some different outcomes based on stuff. So it's not a completely limited, I guess, type of experience. You got a grayling on you. But the reason I have that many hours is because it's a game that I play with my dad and my brothers when we get together to spend time together since I don't live with them. But it started when I did live with them. And I have spent that many hours in the game because it's deeply moddable. We've talked about Stardew Valley mods. I would say I've got probably close to 150 gigabytes of mods for that game downloaded on my computer. Yeah.
That's so many. That's like more than the biggest game I have.
Yeah, well, the reason that it's so large is that you have these maps that are like, 200 square kilometers worth of terrain, all these objects, detailed vehicles. It's very open world, but the modding ability, or the ability of the user to create mods for the game, allows you to really tailor the game to whatever experience you're looking to have. So we play a lot of PvE, which is basically like co-op play against AI, and we've really enjoyed it. And obviously enough that I've made my own mods and spent just a ton of time on it. And I think what keeps a game interesting to me is the ability for new situations to spontaneously like coalesce. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And modability is a part of that. Multiplayer is a part of that. So, yeah, that's my take. I think there's other games like Skyrim that I've played where, it is replayable quite a bit, but the world isn't dynamic enough to where it feels like a completely different world if you play it from a different standpoint. Does that make sense?
I think so. Sorry, just a second. Androxima says he's got to go. See you later. Thanks for tuning in.
See you, Androxima. Thanks for dropping by.
Okay, sorry. Say that last point again.
Just in Skyrim, the world doesn't feel appreciably different on a replay, even if you're playing as a different class. So I think that's why it doesn't feel like it has a ton of replay value, even though there is a lot to do in Skyrim across different types of characters.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I would be curious about playing a different Skyrim build. When I played through, I was like half warrior, half sorcerer. They don't call it sorcerer there, but like all evocation magic in D&D is what it would be called.
Yeah.
Um, and I would be curious about playing any other type of build, but only for a few hours. I wouldn't want to do the whole like 40-hour main quest again.
Yeah.
At least not soon.
Give it 10
Um,
years, enough time to forget.
yeah. But Barma says open world is a big factor in the replayability. Skyrim's got that down.
Yeah,
Um,
it does. And I wonder, I mean, Skyrim is really a game of last generation, maybe even 2 generations ago, if you think about the technology and stuff that went into it. It's an old game.
yeah,
But,
maybe we should
so,
stop using that as a touchstone.
well, I mean, what was considered open world then and what's considered open world now are different, right? That standard has changed as the technology's improved. You know, in Arma, you have, like I said, hundreds of square kilometers that you can explore, and you can play 1,000 hours or 2,000 or 4,000 like me, and still not go places on a map that you've played on for all of that time. You
Wow.
know, so it's just like, what is open world? And I guess back then it was very impressive to see Skyrim's map, but now, you can ride across the map in 10, 15 minutes. And, out in the wild, there's not a ton. There is a lot, actually, in Skyrim to discover. There's a lot. But it's not always, like, different, if that makes sense, from what you would find elsewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, I think it comes down to like dynamic situations playing out and coming together. Okay, this looks really good. What did you do differently, Berkeley?
Just the thing that I said. I built the middle first and then just patched in those little corners.
Huh.
Um, yeah, I mean, it still looks a little rough in the corners, but I did as little as possible at the 45-degree angle. We forgot to mention this. So in this game, every once in a while, one of the gods will get angry at you and try to rally a bunch of monsters to attack you. And that's what's happening right now. So if you're wondering why we're just killing boar after boar after boar, that is why.
That is why. Berkeley, I apologize for destroying the cooking pole. How do I
Ah,
how do I get another one of those?
so from the crafting section, I can build one, but
Oh,
if
I
you
got
want
it, I
to in
got
the
it.
future,
Here we
okay.
go.
I'm gonna put one over here too, so we can make twice as much food, twice as fast.
Okay, so when
Or
it's done, how do I get it back? Oh, I just press A. Alright. There's a grayling attacking you.
thanks. Babarma says need pig door, a boar door. And the pigs would not be able to simply walk through through the boar door.
One does not simply pig walk to Bordor.
Ah, dang it, I'm on fire.
I can help you with that.
It went out on its own. Thanks though.
You're welcome. Well, to be fair, my solution was punching you, so that might not have been. So Berkeley, I guess what makes a game replayable for you? Have you replayed many games?
I had not until this year. I've been on like a real replaying kick over the last 6 months. Um, Most of the games that I've replayed have been open world ones, and specifically ones where I kind of rushed the main quest the first time through. So Fallout 4 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey are the big ones that fit that
Okay.
description.
Yeah.
Where there's, it'd take like 150 hours to 100% the game, but I beat the main quest in 40 hours and then moved on. And both of those I wanted to start new builds, roleplay things a little bit differently. Both of those games have like real character decisions that affect the ending of the game.
Yeah.
So with Fallout, there's like the four main factions that you can side with, and those give you very, very different endings. With Assassin's Creed Odyssey, there's like one main ending, but you've got like 6 or 7 friends and family members that can either live or die depending on your decisions.
Okay.
The first time that I played, none of them lived. So you're supposed to have like this little epilogue scene in your childhood home where you just share a meal with all of the family that you're still with, and I just had it alone.
They all died.
Yep.
How did that happen?
Some of them I was just too angry with when I met them and killed them.
Okay.
A few of them I tried to save and wasn't able because of decisions I had made earlier that I
Okay.
didn't know about.
The only experience I've had with Assassin's Creed, I think I played like 5 or 6 hours at one of my cousin's houses, and I was playing as who I thought was a good guy, and then like right towards the end of the time that I played, I realized that I was actually a horrible villain and didn't know. So I'd made all these decisions, and then like turned out that I was actually the bad guy. Does Assassin's Creed do that often with its storytelling?
They've changed a lot over the years. All the earlier ones were pretty edgelordy. Like the assassin's motto is "Nothing is real, everything is permitted." So not the most morally defensible position.
Yeah.
The more recent ones have been a lot more like you're the hero. You have to do bad things sometimes, but it's only because so many awful people are out to get you. Um, like they've made villains so villainous that you can kind of do shady things while still feeling like a good guy.
Okay. Interesting.
Another like vector of replayability. I hate myself for the way that I phrased that. I'm sorry. Another like type of replayability is like how is just the character build itself. Disco Elysium is a big one where people love replaying that just to try a different build, like focusing on different stats, being more physical versus more intellectual versus more emotional. Baldur's Gate as well. There's like an evil playthrough you can do or a good playthrough you can do, but the biggest difference is just the builds that you do. Like if you want to play a wizard or a sorcerer or a paladin or whatever. So I think that gives a lot of replayability to games when you've got different builds that actually feel different.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And remind us quickly, Disco Elysium is a mystery solving game. Is that right?
Yeah, you're a detective with amnesia, and you're trying to solve a murder and remember who you are at the same time.
That's tough. Plot twist, you commit the murder. I actually don't know that, but hopefully I didn't just guess it in one go.
You did not, don't worry.
Oh, good. Okay.
I am trying to figure out what type of corner to put here. Sorry, that's a me problem. Yeah, are there any games you've replayed, like to do different types of builds?
Yeah. So there's a game called Risk of Rain 2. I haven't played the first one, but the second one, it's another multiplayer game. But the whole point of the game is to survive these different challenges. It's a roguelike, so when you die, it resets completely. Your character's gone, like you start again at the first level. But it takes you through these random maps. The maps aren't randomly generated, but the order in which you go through them is somewhat random. And your goal is to build a character that is strong enough to defeat the final boss. And the final boss is one of two options. It used to be one option, but they added a second one as a DLC. And I've played at that game a ton. I found out that I don't like the play style of a lot of the different characters, but there are a bunch of them. I like simple and straightforward things in terms of strategy. which is a limitation, I think, of my character, like as a human being, is
Well,
that
I don't know if you need to ascribe any morality to it.
it just makes me feel like a lousy strategist, I guess, because what I do usually is pretty straightforward, although, fairly effective if I do say so myself.
Mm-hmm.
But that leads me to kind of limit myself in terms of what character types I play. Okay, Berkeley, I have reached a weird point where I need more supports under the building than I currently have. And I'm not sure how to fix it, because if I put it in, I'm going to have to block this stairway a little bit. How
Oh
much
yeah,
are we
let me kind of
valuing
see
the
what you're talking
aesthetic?
about. I mean, I put this pole right in the middle of the walkway, so not a ton.
I would
I'm
need
wondering if
one
there.
like right in the middle here, I think.
I um. Sorry, I'll figure that out later. Okay, right in the middle. Let me
Yeah.
see. Does that do anything?
Oh, that's an interesting idea. I'll go take a look. Get you using actual engineering techniques.
Oh, I ran out of wood. Dang it. I'll be right back. I'm so curious how they implemented the physics in this game.
Okay, that didn't fix it by itself. That doesn't mean that it's not possible to fix it using that strategy.
Whoa, I love the fence you did. That's super cool.
Oh, thanks. I'm not sure if it's a Z wall, an S wall, or a 2 wall. The font isn't very clear.
I think it's an N wall.
N tipped over N wall. Somebody vandalized my N wall. Now it's an
Been
S
reading,
wall or a 2 wall, and I hate it.
been reading too much Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, I think.
What is that?
What is Chicka Chicka Boom Boom?
Uh-huh.
Period. It's a famous children's book where all the letters in the alphabet go and hang out in the coconut tree, and then they fall out and are injured.
This is why we don't climb trees and then drink with our alphabet friends, kids.
Yep. So I'm not sure if these things that I'm placing are actually like connected to the roof or floor or whatever in any real way.
Okay, let me get back up there and climb atop the N wall. Okay, and build. Okay, it doesn't appear to have changed anything that I can tell.
Dang it. Okay, well, yeah, let's just do a support right down the middle then.
What about like a 45 beam starting from like out here?
That sounds worth a shot. I'll leave you to that.
Okay.
But Brahma says Katamari. Is that another open world game?
Katamari. I actually want you to play this, Berkeley. And maybe we could stream it. It is multiplayer, but it's kind of a limited multiplayer. It's a beautiful Japanese game where you are the son of the king of the universe. And they call you Prince. And your job is to go to Earth with these sticky balls they call Katamari and roll up different stuff for fans of the King of Space. And
Okay.
it's really different from any game I've played outside of Katamari, but it's very fun, creative, lighthearted, like relaxing, a little chaotic, uh, and cathartic. I would say some of the stuff is like these beautiful kind of hypothetical situations where you're going to like this garden. I think they call it an ikebana, and your goal is to roll up all these beautiful flowers. And then sometimes it's like, I want you to roll up this entire town, and the police will come out and shoot at you as you get big enough to roll up people. And then they won't shoot at you because you roll them up. And they can't. And then everything that you roll up has a chance to become a new star in the universe. So,
Whoa.
so, so you'll have, there's my favorite mission is to roll up the entire world. And it's awesome. And if you're successful, you will send all that out to become a new planet or a new star or whatever. And the people living on Earth love it, by the way. So just in case you're worried that it would negatively impact them, it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking that it might. It sure is foggy today.
It
Did we set something on fire?
Does that fix fog?
Oh no, I was wondering if like this fog was actually smoke from all of our work burning to the ground.
Oh,
But
that would be
doesn't
pretty
look
cool.
like it. Would it?
I mean, kinda, just to see it.
Well, I guess we can do that when we're done.
Oh man, the last day, just burn it down. Does stuff actually burn down?
I am not sure.
Okay. All right, moment of truth. Did it work? Maybe. It did. Okay.
Nice. Look at us engineering things. When I was showing my dad Minecraft for the first time long, long ago, I was just building something quick. So I made some scaffolding and then I built the thing and then I destroyed the scaffolding and I ended up in a place where there were like blocks floating in the air.
Oh yeah.
And he just could not get over that. He was like, why isn't it falling? What's going on?
Oh man, spoken like a true engineer. That's pretty funny. Okay, I thought of another game that I've replayed extensively.
Mm-hmm.
It is Link's Awakening for the original Game Boy. And the reason it's so replayable is that there's a glitch in the original version that allows you to teleport to the other side of the next screen you enter. You know how some games, like, it's a top-down game. It'll only show you one screen at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it like loads the world as little chunks, I guess. So this game is like that, and that glitch allows you to move around the world and do things in a different order than you should, and like get items earlier than you should and whatnot. But I actually haven't been able to replicate this since I was a kid. But I've found out that there's the outside world and then there's an inside world. And it's not apparent in the original game, but that's the way that the programmers built it. And so if you use that glitch outside, you move around the map of the outside world. But if you use it inside a building, you can get into all these weird places in the memory of the game that weren't defined by the game developers. And it can lead to some really weird behaviors, including like getting infinite heart pieces, which is how you get more life in Zelda games. And like meeting weird enemies and like corrupted bits of the storyline. that if you interact with, like, cause strange emergent behaviors again. So I have had so much fun playing that game because of that glitch. So sometimes replayability comes down to stuff like that, where it's not actually a part of the gameplay mechanic, but it's a glitch that happens to work in just the right way. I find that endlessly entertaining.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That sounds like a super cool premise for its own game.
Yeah,
Like having to explore corrupted bits of memory, and that's
there's a
wild that that happened that way.
there's a game called Super Hot that was really popular when it first came out, and they made a sequel to it called Super Hot Mind Control Delete. And in that game, you do kind of a similar thing, although it's not a really corrupted memory. They make it look like it and behave kind of like it,
Hmm.
and that's pretty fun as well.
Like as a programmer, usually any sort of corrupted data or corrupted code is just going to look like nonsense.
Yeah.
And so having that actually be its own thing is, like I said, super cool. All right, I am close to having a roof
Nice.
on this back room. Got about half of a roof.
That's half more half. that is that's more than zero. Yes.
Uh, one other obvious one we missed, I think maybe we mentioned it, is Minecraft.
Yeah.
And that one, the replayability is just from the world itself. And think we talked about procedural generation last time when we were talking about which one was that? A Shadow of War game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Lord of Middle Earth Shadow of War. Sorry.
yeah. But Barman says, what makes a record replayable? I think it's just the material that they make it out of. Just keep doing it over and over again. That was a bad joke. Sorry. What am I doing here? Okay.
The fact that the record companies couldn't figure out how to make it single use.
Here we go. I feel like Minecraft just did so well with the procedural generation of the world, and so many games have tried to have procedural generation since then and just not been as compelling as Minecraft.
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is.
I will say, did you ever play what is it even called? No Man's Sky?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of a famous example of one that didn't work quite as well as they thought it would, but I haven't played it, so maybe I'm not right.
I would say, yeah, it didn't work as well, especially when the game first released. They've updated it since then, and it's gotten a bit better, but it's still not perfect. And I think what made that game not work was that they tried to do too big of a scale, if that makes sense. The beauty of Minecraft, and Minecraft maps are infinite, although now you're limited to where you could go. Didn't used to be that way. But Minecraft focused on like kind of one thing originally, which was like the world of the player, like one world, and we're going to make that world feel organic. We're going to have hills, we're going to have caves, we're going to have trees. And then they expanded it to, okay, we're going to have biomes, but they didn't try to do this huge scale. And I think because they limited the scope of what they were trying to achieve originally, that really worked. Because they weren't trying to do it all in one big hodgepodge of random generation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So No Man's Sky, I think, suffers from the fact that it's very much, or was very much, a game that tried to do it all right off the bat. And it might be possible eventually with AI to do that correctly. But I think in 2016 or whenever that game came out, the technology just wasn't there for that to be procedural and realistic. I haven't played Starfield yet, but I get a feeling that that's kind of a similar situation where they really tried to just shoot for the moon in terms of the scale of what they were procedurally generating. And yeah, it's tough, especially the other thing Minecraft had going for it is that it didn't have a story, right? So it wasn't trying to be, procedurally generated and tell this complicated story, right? It was very much just like survive and make it what you want it to be. Whereas games like Starfield, it's an RPG. And like, yeah, there is an element of making it what you want it to be, but that's not the core mechanic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's disappointing. The promise of procedural generation is infinite content, right? Like the programmer didn't make a world for you, it made rules that can make as many worlds as you want, or as many enemies as you want, or like whatever they're procedurally generating. But then the reality ends up being that with a lot of games or a lot of algorithms for the procedural generation, like it very quickly becomes stale and repetitive. Yeah, it's an interesting problem. And I think the story part is a good point as well, that like
It's
if
very hard. Oh, go ahead.
if the generation is the game, which I feel like it is in Minecraft to a large extent, then it's cool seeing so many things get generated, even if it's like kind of the same. But if you're trying to have the generated elements stand in with like really heartfelt, meaningful story beats, it doesn't work as well.
Yeah, it's hard to take things that don't have a lot of meaning and then work that in and have it feel like it blends well and is organic.
Yeah. Can you imagine a director trying to make a film where like parts of the set or like some of the NPCs, some of the like side characters changed every time you watched the movie?
That would be pretty wild.
Yeah.
And it, yeah, wouldn't work very well either.
I died while making that point.
So that was the hill you chose to die on
It's the hill I accidentally died on by
by
jumping.
accidental choice.
Yep. All right. I was running into this problem where I couldn't get my like support poles as high as I wanted, but I think I have fixed that problem. I thought that the floor could be a support for the support poles, but that doesn't make a ton of sense if the floor is suspended on nothing.
Yeah.
I am going to use flooring as a roof and hope it looks okay. Oh my goodness. I am having the hardest time with this. I just want a roof. Is that too much to ask for?
And for this year, Santa Claus, we want a, a teddy bear and a new remote controlled car and a roof made out of wood.
Best I can do is all of those things except the roof.
Aw, darn. Santa Claus is a cheapskate. Who could have guessed? I might have just hit the weight limit as far as what this area can handle. Oh. Or I was being silly and didn't build support in the right spot.
Okay, I actually did not solve my problem. How do you feel about open roofs?
Great. I mean, it's not like we have to live here. We're renting this, so...
When you have a minute, could you come help me try to figure out what I'm doing wrong?
Yeah.
But no rush.
Oh, there's a rush. I'm Russian. No, wait. No, I'm not.
We stand with Ukraine here, Jared.
Yes, actually, yes, we do. Very much. Okay.
Most of this is scaffolding. You'll never guess what's not.
I kind of like this, honestly, because platformer video games were some of the first, right? The original Mario was platformer. Outside of my apartment right now, they're building a new grocery store. And there's a series of these, like, I don't know what they call them, cherry pickers, man lifters. But they're set up like this, kind of, where you could jump from one to the other. And as I was walking home today, I thought to myself, huh, I wonder if I could actually survive that. And now we have essentially the same thing for the same purpose, even.
Yeah.
Here in the game.
I just almost died by missing, so I'm gonna eat some food, get my health up.
Nice.
This is a super cool mechanic in this game. You don't have a max health. The more food you eat, the more your max health goes up. And then, like, the food that you've eaten expires as you digest it. And then your max health goes back down. Okay, so what I would love to do is build off of the piece that's right in front of you, that's like level with the roof.
Yeah.
But anything I try to build there just breaks instantly.
Okay.
And it looks supported, but I guess it's not.
What are you using? Wood floor?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the platform itself is red. What if I destroy this scaffold? And then try. Does that free up enough weight? No, it does not.
Maybe this one I'm on.
No. Very interesting. What if we do it one level lower? You can only do one. Okay, let's try just on flat ground, putting a post and then building a couple of studs off it, or a couple of platforms off it, and see if it accepts more than one. It might just be limited to one. Okay, so this can do it.
What if we go super high first?
Yeah.
Well, not super high. Let's do like... That's pretty high. Hmm. I wonder if these support poles that are inside are not connected to the support poles underneath. I might need to destroy the floor and make support poles and then put the floor
That
back
go all
in.
the way up.
Uh-huh.
Hmm. Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
Let me see how tall I need them. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 up top and then 2 below in most spots. So I'll try going 6 high and see if I can build on top of that. Okay, thank you for helping me with my problem.
Yeah. So, to go back to Babarma's question about what makes a record replayable,
Oh
uh,
yeah, should we answer that for serious?
yeah, I think that for me, having an emotional connection with the music, I've talked about writing music before on this uh, stream, and I'll say, for me to successfully write music, I need to have an emotional connection with what I'm writing about. And for me to successfully enjoy music, I think that's still true on some level. I need to feel something from the music being made. And I think that replayability comes partly from being catchy, right? It gets in your head and whatnot. But what really sticks around, the records that I listen to the most, again and again, are ones that make me think or provide peace. Like, it's in some ways, a replayable record is almost like a candle that you can light to bring a certain smell. Music you can listen to bring a certain mood, or to help you get rid of a certain mood. You know, it's kind of an emotional regulator in a way. And not all music is that way for me. There's a lot of music I listen to just because I enjoy the way it sounds, but I think, why do I enjoy it? Well, I think it does come back to the idea of how I feel when I listen to it. You know, it helps me feel a groove, or it helps me feel focused. It helps me feel calm. It helps me feel energetic. Um, or it helps me think, right? One of my favorite tracks is The Ghost of Tom Joad by originally by Bruce Springsteen, but I particularly enjoy the cover by Jose Gonzalez. And it might be with Junip that he performs it, but The Ghost of Tom Joad is a song about a character who's famous in the literary world for being part of a famous novel that I'm blanking on the name of right now, but the song itself essentially just talks about dealing with inequality in America, and you know, the kind of the reality of what that looks like from the song's point of view, and then also the singer's personal commitment to dealing with that, and in a way, like the sacredness of human life, um, and the common humanity of people. And that song, like I said, I mean, it gets me thinking, helps me feel that sense of inspiration to go out and deal with those problems in the world, in the ways that I see them in my life. And that's been one of my that's been on my Spotify Wrapped, I think, 6 years in a row now. It's one of my favorite
Wow.
tracks. So that
But
would be my
Barmas,
answer.
yeah, I like that. But Barmas says open world could work for records too, maybe. I'm really curious what you mean by that. Repetition is catchy, but it gets old fast. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the idea of an open world record, like maybe like using algorithms to create certain sounds, and then maybe having a record that's more about um, I don't know if you could do this with a conventional like vinyl record, but certainly with the digital music formats we have today, you could build a website and call it a record that plays a song, but the song changes as you move through the website in like an XY or even an XYZ plane,
Mm,
and just use like algorithmically generated transitions between stuff to create this continuous plane of music that kind of fades from one song to the next. I don't know.
that would be super cool. All right, we're about at time. I am disappointed that I was not able to beat gravity today. Um, I've done a little experiment here to see how far out we can build at different heights, and it looks like the height does matter a lot. Um, so yeah, I'll probably do some experimenting offline and hopefully come up with a solution before we stream again.
Yeah,
Or maybe just leave this as a monkey enclosure.
exactly. And we're the monkeys.
Yep.
All right.
But
Well,
Barma says procedurally generated music. That definitely exists. I think it's even harder than games to make procedurally generated music engaging. But yeah, people are experimenting with that for sure.
it certainly can be done. If you're interested in that, there was a Nintendo DS game called what was it called? It's based around plankton, and the different plankton had different algorithms that created music, and there were these beautiful instruments, and people are starting to uh, take that concept and make art on YouTube with that. Okay, the
Hmm.
game was called Electroplankton, and my favorite instrument from it is called Hannonbow, and it's these leaves, and then water drops at certain time onto the leaves, and each leaf makes a different tone, and then they slowly tilt, and it's like a physics toy, but it makes music. Anyways, Hannonbow, in the game Electroplankton. If you're interested in algorithmic music, that's the coolest I've seen. But there's all sorts of artists making new instruments like that on YouTube now. So
Neat.
yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming out. If you're new to the stream or you're watching this recorded and haven't followed our Instagram or our Twitch, find our Linktree link. It's going to be in the description of the video or the About page if you're on Twitch, or our bio if you're on Instagram and somehow still hearing this at the same time. And you
Yeah,
can, you can click it to join us and I guess hang out where we hang out. Berkeley, you were going to say something. I cut you off.
no, you see, I was interrupting you, and you stopped me from doing that, and I appreciate that. Um, we've got a Discord where we love to hear from you, meet you all.
Yeah, yeah. Facts. If you want to hear some more of Bebarma's favorite picks, he's got a streak going in the record recs, and so far hasn't missed. So
Mm-hmm.
join our Discord for more interesting, fun content slash just human interaction. I guess I don't know if that counts as content in the modern era. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, for coming out, and we'll see you. Probably not next week because it's Thanksgiving, but we'll see you at some point in the future.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
Bye.